The time to save on new Accords is right now during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda. Get our lowest prices and biggest savings on our largest selection of Accords this year. Hurry in before these savings are gone during Happy Honda Days at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Seagan Lane.
Well, welcome to it.
Hello.
How you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing okay.
All right.
You know, just kind of waiting. It's been the story of the morning, actually late last night and into the morning. That first little round ended up, kind of stalling out to our west, talking about the weather. Welcome to WAFB Plus here on 9 News Now for you. This Wednesday really is all about that weather. And that line of storms that just stalled a little bit and continue to rake just parts of our west. It is marching this way, just slowly.
It is. So you're looking at this and you're probably like, what storms?
Yeah.
It's been delayed, and that's what the weather does. It decides to do what it wants.
Well,
and as that mentioned, that line is still on its way, and we're still tracking that. The thing to note here, though, is that you see some of these red boxes popping up, the outline of lines. So the WAFB viewing area, largely in part, is under a tornado watch until 1 o'clock this afternoon. And obviously, we are keeping our eye out for that flash flood warning, along with the storms that are to come.
And you see, when you look at this, and there's a bit of training going on with some of these storms, and Dr. Steve was talking about that this morning as well, and getting some high rain amounts in some areas, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches in spots in just a number of hours. And so the timing on this, it is looking like later morning into the early afternoon, and then by the evening, this line of storms is going to be gone. It's just what it brings with it. Obviously, we know that there have been tornadoes in Texas and Oklahoma with this line. There's reported tornadoes in North Louisiana, which we're going to get into in a quick minute. So that potential is here, and you can see kind of those cellular showers popping up right over Baton Rouge right now. Those are the ones that Dr. Steve was talking about as well. That when you get into that daytime hours, the sun's out, the daytime heating, adding that fuel to the atmosphere, which could make the storms that much worse. That's what he's really kind of focused in on a little bit. Those even before the line gets here, paying attention to that.
So we're keeping our eyes on that, and you can see as it makes its way through St. Landry Parish at the end of our show. We're keeping our eyes on it as it continues to move through our area, and again, that top tip of it is going to hit past like our Mississippi-Louisiana line before it gets to us, but we're keeping our eyes on it. Steve may join us. He's busy kind of tracking the storm and seeing where it's going, but rest assured that we're going to have our eyes on it too.
That's look. I mean, he's going to be on the social. He'll be on digital. He'll jump on the air when needed. It's all hands on deck. And we were just talking about this line of storms and where it's been and the damage it's already done. In North Louisiana, it looks like it's claimed a couple of lives.
We've checked in with our sister station KSLA in Shreveport, and they are reporting right now that at first a 5-year-old child was found among the dead there in Shreveport after some possible tornadic activity had passed. Then later on this morning, we had learned that child's mother also among the dead there. Mother and child in what appears to be like a mobile home park, which is the worst place to be.
And they talk about that all the time. It's obviously one of the least safe places to be if something like this were to happen. And it struck, like we were talking about for us potentially, overnight hours, this system coming through and stalling kind of near us, and those overnight storms, just the absolute worst. It happened there in Shreveport. That's kind of where it was. That's kind of where it stalled. Those storms ripped through there. Looks to be a tornado. Talking to the sheriff up there, our sister station did. Talking to the sheriff up there, and he's got some years on him in service. And he says, I've seen tornadoes hit. I've seen the damage they've left behind. Never seen anything like this. That'll tell you something.
Yeah, and as the sun comes up in the Shreveport part of the world, as the storms move continuously east, that is something the National Weather Service is going to go out and inspect. And I just saw actually CBS in Dallas, our CBS station there, 6 reported tornadoes from the National Weather Service in the Dallas area. Think of how wide that viewing area is. 6 different tornadoes confirmed in that area. Again, this is a storm system that's moving across the country, impacting our part of the world next.
Yeah, really. I mean, if you were following this storm yesterday, you could see it, I mean, dipping down into Mexico, cutting through Texas, like you're talking about Dallas, stretching all the way through the country into Canada. This is how large that system is, depending on where you are. You're catching different things, tornado and rain, blizzards in some parts. But in our part of the world, it really is those winds and the rains that we're talking about. just next to, of course, Shreveport Union Parish. They had 25 people injured after possible tornadoes there. So a couple deaths up there in the Shreveport area, a couple dozen other people injured.
Yeah.
This is the potential of that line, right? So no matter when it hits, we want to pay attention to it down here because we know what might be possible.
It's all about making sure you and your family are prepared. I know you're probably looking at all this, hearing all this, taking all of it in, thinking, well, it's sunny outside. We haven't seen any rain today. Why was work canceled? Why was school canceled? Because the potential of. And when you talk about safety, you can never be too safe in making sure people are off the roads, not in buildings that they don't need to be in. Home is probably the best place to be right now.
I think, look, you're exactly right. And when you talk about, and these are all these closures that Liz is mentioning, and actually if you go to the front page, the home page, or the 9 News app as well, the lead story there is going to be like the severe weather, big story right there. You click on that, you'll scroll through here, you see all the school closures and the office closures. And so, yeah, you wonder about, wait, why was school? Let me tell you this. I know for a fact East Baton Rouge was a half day today. Right? They got midterms going on, and yes, they have to be rescheduled, and yes, that's a pain in the backside, and I get it. Look, I get it. I've got kids at home who are like, but that half day today was going to put them leaving school about the time we think this is now going to be kind of rolling through. The last thing you want is buses on the road, kids on the road driving themselves, that kind of thing. So we always get it. We get it. I mean, pulling that trigger, you know, at to cancel this or delay that. It's always a tough decision. But you know what? We've seen a lot down here, and so you err on the side of caution.
That's the best way to be, especially when we wake up and see what happened to our friends in North Louisiana, just hours away. You never know the potential of how strong Mother Nature may pack a force when she eventually hits.
Tell you what, easy thing to do. Download the First Alert Weather app. It's free. It's a free download, and it's you can set those alerts for yourself, and you can toggle on, toggle off, whatever you want. I would suggest, as Steve talks about all the time, having a lot of those turned on, especially when the severe weather's rolling through. But what a great resource to have. So it's just right there. You can go about your day, but it'll be right there in pocket, ready to go for you. 9
News app, also a great resource to have. We're going to let you know about any other closures, any other major news updates, even if it impacts weather. We're going to let you know about that and send those out regularly throughout today.
Yep. Okay, so all that's going on. This as well. Okay, so we came in this morning. You know, we were thinking just kind of like you were as well. All right, this probably going to be that weather headline as these early mornings go on. That got pushed a little bit. This became some of the headlines. Callie Hubbard, who was live this morning with us, obviously running around a bunch of different spots. It was a bunch of spots, started here. Yeah, this is Dutton Avenue near Greenwell Springs. Reports of a shooting that Baton Rouge police investigating at this time. We were told that one person was shot, but around 4 o'clock, again, that's Dutton Avenue near Greenwell Springs. That's where Callie was out this morning as police started to put out that crime scene tape, started to go out with flashlights and started at a dark 30, not much to see at that time. But EMS said that they were treating one person. They believe that that person was in serious condition at that point. And so what happens next? Well, the investigation. And your phone calls. We talk often about how successful Crime Stoppers is around here. And it is obviously because of you guys. So if you know anything that can get them going in the right direction, it's an easy number to dial. It's 344-STOP. But yeah, this is just getting going. We're working obviously with BRPD and EMS, get you the very latest. So that was, as you mentioned, a little after, right around 4 o'clock, she was there at 5 o'clock. And so Callie's there. And then boom, all of a sudden, right over here. 5:30, Callie makes her way to the next scene because we also, around the same time, heard about a house fire. Right around 4:45, this actually started to happen. The Baton Rouge Fire Department working this one. This one actually happening on Crown Avenue near Airline. I know, it's getting real sensitive. Yeah, sensitive. Crown near Plank and Airline. So if that kind of places you here, between Beechwood and Winchester Avenue. We're told that this was actually a vacant house fire. It's something that started behind the stove in the wall. They believe it could possibly be electrical issues. Yeah, they're saying faulty wiring right now. So FD and their investigators got in there pretty quick. Look, you know as well as I do, and maybe you do as well, anytime there's a vacant house, and that's what they were calling this, anytime a vacant house catches on fire, they almost automatically assume arson. How did that fire get started? That kind of thing. But again, this was a vacant house at the time. They got in there and they were able to determine pretty quickly, you know what? Not arson. This is actually an accidental fire, they believe, because of that faulty wiring in the wall behind the stove. So that's what this looks like. That's at least a good thing. We're not looking for any arsonist out there. And the big takeaway as well, of course, nobody hurt. And they were able to put out the fire pretty quick. A busy morning in our part of the world. And then Callie went on to continue to track the weather. So
good news here. No one was injured. They got the fire out. And we're still tracking the weather.
We are, and so that's going to be the headline maker, and we can do this for you in a number of different places, including WAFB Plus.
Yeah.
So from the Plus to social to digital to on the air, the mothership, the big broadcasts, all the different ways that we are able to kind of get that information to you. But here's the thing, you can get the information to us. You're seeing it right here, 9 reports. The ability to share your video and photos of the story as it's happening safely.
Yes.
You are the eyes and ears, truly, when it comes to something like this.
Our viewing area is quite large,
Really
and so
is.
if you said,
Yeah.
WAFB, you need to come here. This is what my backyard looks like. This
Yeah.
is what my street looks like. As Matt mentioned, please safely submit those photos to us. Easy to do through the 9 News app or the WAFB weather app. Just scroll down and you'll see submit photos/video. Make it real easy for us to show off kind of what's happening on the ground with a live look through your eyes.
And again, this is going to be building over the course of later this morning into this afternoon. That line of storms we've been talking about it all morning, just kind of delaying themselves a little bit, stalling a little bit out further to our north and west than that hadn't been anticipated. But you can tell it's obviously coming our way, and you can start to see those showers beginning to pop up and stream our way out of the Gulf as well. So this is going to play out. It's just going to be later this morning into the afternoon.
Please take any weather warning or alert seriously,
Yeah,
and just know that our team is still staying on top of us. Even if it continues to get delayed, we're still letting you know what happens. And Matt mentioned earlier, make sure you have the WAFB weather app. Best resource to know exactly when it may be even hovering over your neighborhood.
Look, Steve's here right now, Jared's here right now, Jeff and Jay are going to be joining the crew obviously here a little bit. Ain't going anywhere until it's all through. And the good thing on the other side of this, once we get through all this, actually it looks like the weather's going to be pretty good. That 10-day forecast plays out and the cooler weather shows up. Just got to get you through this.
Make the most of every moment together in a 3-row Mazda CX-9. Find yours during the season of inspiration.
Make no payments for 90 days on a new CX-9 during the season of inspiration at Team